So Cardano ADA has dipped more than 5% following on from my previous video. And despite this dip, there is still a possibility that ADA can reach this target here between 76.2 cents to 78.79 cents. And reason being is because we never actually broke our local low at around 68.2 cents. And we managed to find support at the 200 DMA. And it's possible that within this fifth wave, we have a 5-wave move where this is our wave 1, wave 2, and we've got a wave 3, 4, and 5 to play out. So if I go on the minute chart, so this move to the upside is made up of impulsive moves, where if I was to draw that in, you'd have your wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and your final fifth wave move. And so what we can do is check to see if our typical requirements have been met, where the wave 3 is a 1.618 retracement of the wave 1. So if I use the fib tool, and you can see that the 1.618 retracement level sits at 71.54 cents, and we ended up reaching around 71.8 cents. So that met the typical requirements. And then we have our wave 4, which is made up of a WXY structure. So that's complete. And then we have a move to the upside, which again is made up of a 5-wave move, where this is our wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that fifth wave is typically a 1.236 to 1.618 retracement of the wave 4. So again, using the fib tool, you can see that the 1.618 retracement level sits at around 72.41 cents, and we ended up reaching around 72.92 cents. And so those requirements have been met for this move to the upside. And then we ended up having this move to the downside, which is made up of corrective waves, where we have a WXY structure and a WXY structure, and we have a WXY structure. So that then forms a bigger WXY structure. And so if I was to draw that in, like so, and then what we can do is check to see if those typical requirements have been met, where the Y wave typically retraces anywhere between 1 to 1.236 of the W wave. So if I zoom in and bring that down to here, you can see that we ended up reaching our targets between 1 to 1.236. So again, this structure is complete. So if I go back to the hourly chart and just remove this, so it's possible that we have a 5-wave move where this is our wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And what we can do very quickly is target out our wave 3, which is a 1.618 retracement of the wave 1. So if I bring that to over here, so that 1.618 retracement level sits at around 76.22 cents, which sits within this target here, where the minimum target is 76.2 cents. Now, of course, the flip side to that could be that we ended up topping off at around 74.67 cents, and we are now on a move to the downside, where ADA could potentially reach this target here between 53.42 cents to 61.75 cents. And we could potentially break the strong low, which would then result in a break of structure and a change of character, which would then confirm that we're on a bearish trend. Now, this could be a temporary move, given that we have a WXY structure that could be potentially forming. And of course, that's something that we can't overlook, and we always have to look at both sides. So the bullish scenario could be that we could potentially reach this target here, but the bearish scenario could be that we ended up topping off and we are now on a move to the downside, where we can then potentially reach this target here. Now, as far as the indicators go, you can see that we are overbought on a stochastic RSI, given that we are above 50. And so the bears could take control of the market and drive the price of ADA down. Now, ideally, should that be the case, then I'd like ADA to find support at the 200 DMA, sort of similar to what took place over here, and see another push to the upside, where we can then potentially reach this target here. Now, Smart Money Concept is indicating that we have a weak high, and so it is looking likely that we could potentially break this high, which would then result in a break of structure and a change of character, which would then confirm that we're on a bullish trend. Now, this could be a temporary move, where we could potentially reach this target here, and then we see a move to the downside, and we could potentially reach this target here. And the reason being is because this move to the upside since Monday, the 7th of April, has been a 40% move, or over 40% move. And so I do anticipate people shorting the market and taking profits, which would then potentially drive the price of ADA down towards this region here. And so those people that shorted the market would then buy in at a low price, which could then potentially drive the price of ADA up towards the upper targets. So maybe around the mid 80s, 80-cent range. Now, as far as the 4-hour chart goes, we are oversold, given that we are below 50. And so, again, the bulls do have the momentum to drive the price of ADA up towards the upper targets. And we are trading above both the 50 EMA and the 200 EMA, which is, of course, a bullish sign. And we do have a smart money concept also indicating that we have a weak high. And so we are looking healthy despite this move to the downside. And again, we can see that we ended up finding support at the 50 EMA. And yeah, ideally, I'd like to see ADA continue to move to the upside, where we then potentially target out this range here. And as far as the daily chart goes, we are trading between both the 50 EMA and the 200 EMA. And in addition to that, the stochastic RSI is showing us that we are overbought. And so it looks like we are nearing the top right now. And again, that kind of coincides with my thoughts with regards to people actually shorting the market, given that we had a move of over 40% to the upside. And so, yeah, people will be taking profits, and there is a potential of a retracement to the downside where we then potentially reach this region here. And you can see that we have a fair value gap between 59 cents to 62 cents, which could potentially be filled in. And we have smart money concept indicating that we have a strong low. And so it is possible that we tap into this region here while at the same time not breaking our strong low. And so, yeah, there is a potential of a bigger WXY structure forming where ADA could then potentially reach the 80-cent range. So yeah, that's just my quick update on Cardano ADA. Hopefully you found this useful. And if you did, then feel free to hit that like button. And if you're new, feel free to subscribe. Take it easy, people. Peace.